Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rodora Badin, and I'm pleased to introduce our guest speaker for today. Her name is Natalie Macaulay, partner and UK Managing Director. Natalie is a director with Emerge Learning, an Anglo-Canadian learning company. Her practice focuses on team and leadership development, organizational effectiveness, and the implementation of HR strategies. Natalie's background includes a short career as a seaman officer in the British Royal Navy. Her HR experience spans 2 decades in the corporate HR roles in private sector industries including publishing, brewing, investment banking, global telecommunications, and oil and gas. Natalie graduated from the University College of North Wales School of Ocean Sciences in 1993 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Geological Oceanography. In 2000, she received a Master of Science degree in Human Resources from Portsmouth Business School. Natalie shares her time between Canada and the UK and attempts to decrease her carbon footprint by driving Mini Coopers on both sides of the Atlantic. In her spare time, Natalie is an avid skier, dog guardian to Sam the Labrador, and is currently learning to fly a helicopter. And one final note, please. If you could please hold your question and answers at the end, Natalie will be happy to answer them for you. Now, please welcome Natalie.
Well, thank you very much and good afternoon. A couple of housekeeping items first of all. I'm going to move around a lot and wave my hands. And that's going to be hindered by the fact that apparently since I came to live in Canada, I now have an accent. So can you all understand me okay? All right. Now, Evan, I'd like to introduce Evan first of all. Evan Lauderdale is one of my colleagues from Emerge. Say hi, Evan. Now, has anyone got an obstructed view because of Evan stood in the front of them or the video camera? If so, then you're welcome to jiggle to one of the sides because we're not actually going to need tables. So if you are obstructed, please feel free to move and get a good view. Now, I'm holding a piece of technology in my hand, and that's not because I'm going to take a call during the session. We are actually using a fabulous little app from Apple to run the presentation. So, and there's a couple of other bits of technology woven in here. You might have noticed my 2 packs on the back here. I feel like I should be working for the CIA. I've got 2 mics on, one for the PA address here and one for the video camera. Which leads me to the next point, which is we are going to video the session. So is everyone all right if we might accidentally catch your wonderful features on tape? If not, let me know. We'll put one of those black bars over your eyes, okay? Now, I've been working in oil and gas too long not to do a quick safety brief, and I think I always had designs to be an air stewardess because the exits are here and over there, all right? I don't think we're expecting any fire alarms. If we do, stay calm and carry on. Leave the room and don't forget the speaker. Evan's all right, he'll find his own way out. I'm English, remember? Okay, what else have I got to remind you about? So I'm going to move around. I was told very early on that this session sold out pretty early. So congratulations to you guys for jumping in quick. Now, a little bit of a background as to where this session came from. It was originally born out of a presentation that was given to the Human Resources Association of Calgary a couple of years ago by 2 of our other partners, Pat Schneider and Lee McLean. And it was very provoking at the time. So I'm going to caveat it now by saying you may not like everything you're going to hear, you may not even agree with it, but at least stay till the end and hear what folks have got to say. Now, I also used to be an HR person, and I remember going to conferences and paying a lot of money to hear people speak. And now and again, you'd get, the odd smart consultant out the front saying, you should be doing this and you're not doing that. Yeah, right, walk a mile in my shoes. So in coming to present to you today, this is an emerged team effort, even though I'm the person representing today. We sat around the table and we said, you know, what we don't want this to be is just Natalie standing up, being a smart consultant, telling people what they should be doing. So we've actually gone one step better. We've taken the original presentation from Calgary 2 years ago, and we have gone out, Evan and I, and we've actually interviewed real live CEOs. And you are going to watch vignettes of CEOs actually telling you from their mouths what they're expecting of HR leaders. And with a very clever bit of editing, we've been able to compress all of this into just about 1 hour. So that's why we're going to suspend questions until the end. Let us run through for you. Get comfortable, sit back, keep your shoes off, as long as you don't have smelly feet. I don't think I can actually say that. And we'll go from there. Right, so I've got to get off the stage, tell you about safety, introduce Evan, show you my microphones, ask you if it's okay to video you, questions at the end, and one last thing. There is one very obvious spelling mistake in this presentation. There will be a prize for the first person to tell me at the end what the spelling mistake is. No, it's not grammar. The grammar's awful, I tell you that now. But there is one very obvious spelling mistake, all right? So let's see if you can see it. All right, without further ado, let's see if the technology works. Evan, was that everything I had to say? Okay, he's giving me the thumbs up. I feel like I'm on the Ellen show or something. We should have danced. That would have been cool. Okay. Wait. Oh, who said that? All right, so 2 key objectives that I intended in devising the presentation for you today. Firstly, to share with you what real live CEOs and senior leaders have actually been telling us about their rising expectations. This is a culmination of about 25 years of experience that our company has of consulting in and around Canada. Of course, I haven't got 25 years experience. Really? Okay, we also, genuinely, we do want to provoke you. But more importantly, we hope that we can inspire you to think seriously about the role of leadership in HR, because we truly, truly believe there is an opportunity for us to grasp. Now, you might say, well, what qualifies you to be out the front? Now, I've said it's a team effort. So in terms of our company, we've all worked on the inside. We've all been HR leaders at the front line. We work day in, day out with CEOs and executive teams. We do have intimate access. Many of our best clients are HR leaders, leading large HR departments, not just in Edmonton or Calgary, but overseas as well. We're in the trenches every day. And I know from my experience as an HR person, it can honestly feel like that sometimes, that you're right in the midst of it. And we have clients who are great leaders, so they've really been our inspiration. Now, we've made some assumptions, everyone does, so forgive us. But our assumptions are that what we're now describing as functional leadership. So what does leadership in HR actually look like? Well, that functional leadership, it does require a very different mindset and some additional skills to the ones that you're using just to get the day-to-day work done. It's changing. Now, how long ago was it that Ulrich came out with the HR champion model? About 15 years? About 15 years? And he talked then, do you remember the phrase of HR needs to be at the table? Oh, come on. How long have we been talking about getting to the table? If we're not at the table already, we need to get to the patio. Now, so there's an opportunity for a breakthrough. That's what we believe. That's our assumption, okay? And you'll see a couple of reasons why, and it's in terms of the changing expectations from CEOs in business today. Now, I'm going to try something with you. This is what we call a hook in instructional design. Let's see if we can hook the audience into the topic here. Through the use of a piece of technology which is hosted on the internet, and it's a great way to share a little app with you that you could take back and use. And it's called Poll Everywhere. Has anyone in the audience come across this before? A couple of people. The reason I like it is because I'm cheap and it's absolutely free. And what we're going to do is you can answer the question, actually, what do you think CEOs really want from HR leaders? So let's take a couple of minutes and just try this. Let's see if it works. So I'm going to go to this website in a minute. First of all, if you'd like to take part, you'll need your cell phone, or mobile, as we say in Europe, or mobile if you're in Germany. So if you'd like to take part, just grab your cell phone and go to your where you create a text message. Okay? And, well, the first thing you were going to do is we're going to join the poll. All right? So to join the poll, in your to box, just type the number 37607. All right? And then in the body of the text, you're just going to type the number 193861 and send it. And then you'll get a message back saying that you've joined the poll. Okay? So in the to bar, 37607, and then actually send the number 193861. And then you'll get a note. There we go. You'll get a note back saying you've joined the session. Great stuff. And text costs no more than 20 cents a minute, all right? And I get no cut of that. All right. Now, in a minute, I'll pull up the live polling screen. We'll go to it. We'll go to the internet. And all you're going to do is, to that same number you've just texted, 37607, I'd like you to give me one-word answers of what you think CEOs really want from HR leaders. For example, money. They might want money, okay? And then all you would do is you would write the number 1, your one-word answer, and then send that, okay, to 37607.
Should it be in the bracket?
No. All right, let's have a look. So, what do you think CEOs really want from HR leaders? Here we go. HR expertise, strategy, leadership, advice. Love it. Now the phones are all going. Data, very interesting. You'll hear that come up. Strategic plans, align goals, alignment, answers. People leadership, absolutely. Value, talent, plans, all great stuff. I'm so pleased that worked. Now, if you do want to use this, as I say, there's polleverywhere.com. You just sign in, and there is a free version. There's also paid versions for very large user bases, but it's a great little tool if you want to just get a live feed from an audience. Okay, for those of you that have just done this, you might just want to mute your phone because you'll continue to get a response back just so it's not distracting. Okay, so just wait for the technology to catch up. What we're now going to do is move into a series of vignettes. And what we did was we gave the CEOs a little bit of background as to why we wanted to speak with them. We gave them some thought-provoking questions. And then that was as far as we went with our direction. We basically then just put them in front of the camera and asked them to tell us what they wanted. Now, we took all of that information. There was about 8 hours of video, and we reviewed it all, and there were some, pardon the pun, there were some emerging themes came out. And that's what we've given you today. We've given you these emerging themes. And there's 4 key buckets that you're going to see. And here's the first one. Okay, so pursue clarity and be relevant. And a couple of key points there. Often the CEOs declare that they don't really understand the language of HR. We've got a really rich vocabulary in HR. And sometimes they just simply don't understand our language. So boil it down for them. Use their language, the business language. CEOs need HR leaders to bring clarity and relevance to what it is that HR offers. And they're asking for our help in being able to translate that for them. And as I've said, just boil it down into plain language in terms of what is actually adding value to the business that you're operating in. So pursue clarity, be relevant, just boil it down for them. So being proactive, what we heard a lot of them say was, it's a bit of a cliche, but don't bring me problems, bring me solutions, right? They don't just want you to tell them what's not going well, but they want you to tell them how you're going to put it right or what your suggestions are. So issues that will get the business moving forward, what's coming down the pipe. CEOs want to know then how that translates into profit. Every CEO has to be profit-driven, even if you're a non-for-profit, right? Because you still need money to run the business. So how will it translate into to profit for your business? And then they want you to ask the questions. They want you to know the answers, or at least have suggestions, and they want you to know how you're going to execute. I have to tell you, one of the best bits of this videoing was going to the Big Rock Brewery. And yes, we got free beer. Okay, so have an opinion. Have an opinion. This came through so loud and clear. There was an invitation from every single one of those CEOs. They are looking to their HR leader almost as that personal confidant, over and above every other single person around that executive team. They're inviting challenge from their HR leader. They want you to be their conscience almost. So ask good questions as well, particularly of those business decisions that may not initially appear to be just inside the HR realm. So, a big purchase decision or an engineering decision. Okay, you may not be the functional expert, but you can still ask great questions. And see it as your role to help clarify any situation. So, adding value to every function within the company, making priorities important when they are the priorities of the business, not just the flavour of the month in HR. Expect goals that are outcome orientated, not just activity oriented. And you heard loud and clear there through the early vignettes that they simply don't want policy police. So there's the 4 buckets. And at this juncture, as we were around the planning table, we thought, well, okay, it's great to get the CEOs on screen, but what would make this really useful to you folks? It's one thing to hear from the CEOs and say, okay, so they want this, they don't want that. But how would you actually now translate that into developing leaders in your teams, in your organizations for the future of HR? So the next segment is really an offer from us to you in terms of all you've heard and our experience of working with these folks day in, day out. Here's a framework for what we're advocating could be an HR leadership development framework. And we thought, well, we've got some great people on video. We should really now bring this home for you. And we were so impressed with a couple of the CEOs that we interviewed that we went after their HR leaders to see if they could actually now, in their own words, as HR leaders working in organizations just like many of you, tell you how they are doing this, all right? So they know what their CEO wants, but here's how they're actually doing it. And we've built this against 5 leadership principles, okay? Wonderful. So P&L is the metric, profit and loss. That is the fundamental piece of financial information that the CEO and the rest of the executive team will be looking at. And so I know there's been a whole industry in HR built up around how do you measure return on investment. Metrics in recruitment such as cycle time, time to hire. Yeah, but how do they actually translate to money on the profit and loss? So P&L is the metric. And great HR leaders won't tolerate either just a functional perspective in terms of HR programs. So they're really looking for their team to be constantly thinking about the impact of the business. Did you like Rachel's ring? Wasn't that pretty? Okay, P&L is the metric. That's the first functional leadership competency. And you know, this is what stage fright does for you folks. I had the name of a fabulous little book, and can I remember the name of it now? No, but it's written by Warren Buffett. So if you Google Warren Buffett or go to Amazon, Warren Buffett has written a really short little read all about the fundamentals of finance. And you can put a different wrapper around the edge so no one needs to know that you don't know it. And it's fabulous. You'll read it in an afternoon. Now, just test a theory with me, folks, for a minute. When I worked as a corporate HR person, my observation through working through a number of different industries was that whenever I was with the management team that I supported, I was actually the most positionally junior person around that management table. How many of you are in that same situation where you're the most junior positionally person around the table? So that's why that last piece from Rachel, I grabbed that with both hands because that really resonated with my experience. And I loved what she said there. You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what position you are in the organization. If you're there as the leader of the HR function, just live into your greatness, okay? You are the leader, so it doesn't matter what position level the organization has given you. All right, so shape the table. This is actually a term from billiards. Does anyone play billiards? Yeah, oh, I did not know this. So that's a billiard table, if you can see it. Great HR leaders, they're taking the long view. So I don't want to disrespect Dave Ulrich. Dave, are you in the room? No, okay. But I think the comment or the question about being at the table has had its day. I'm advocating now that it's about shaping that table. So you're at the table and you're not just there, but you're actually shaping it. Great HR leaders, they're looking ahead. They're not waiting for direction. They create the direction. Not to rely on sameness and equity as their leadership proxy. So, you know, we talk about equal rights, equity, there's an opportunity here, certainly in terms of the way that people are expecting different elements from the organisation. And they're actively leading their function toward and through complexity, not shying away from it. So shaping the table. So smart speed energizes, be responsive, don't compromise results for the sake of the process. Let the process change to accommodate the results. So I'll just repeat that again. This was not Savannah, this was a previous organisation. She asked the new president, chairman, what is the new mandate for HR? And he said, you need to be humane, resourceful, and we need better sandwiches in the vending machine. So find a way, manage that tension of both supporting the P&L, but also managing to your functional, your accountabilities metrics, and just know that if it feels like hard work, it's probably because you're doing the right thing. So I'm just going to stop that prematurely there because of time. But the team is always more important than the work. And as an HR leader, then sometimes there is that tension about having to meet the needs of the business, but then how are you also developing folks? You're not getting it. I may need the CIA's help on this. Okay, that's gone dead, so I will talk louder. Yes! This is where the military training comes in. Okay, so, and the reason I stopped it, thank you very much for letting me know that. The reason I stopped it prematurely is because I hope you haven't been videoed to death. And believe me, it'd be way better than listening to me for an hour. Right, Evan? But if I can just start to summarize and have your permission to keep you for just another few minutes. You've heard from the CEOs, you've heard from real live HR people about how they're doing some of this stuff. We've done a little bit of a spoof for you. You might recognize the person that appears in the next tiny little video, but it's just a glimpse, folks, of the future of HR if we don't do some of what's been advocated. Give him a hand. Okay, folks, so no more videos, I promise. There was one on here, but we'd also held one in reserve because what we've done is we've actually built, get rid of that. You'll be able to see that, but I'll tell you where. We've actually built a whole website for you based on today's presentation. What CEOs really want from HRleaders.com, probably the world's longest URL. And it's live as I speak. And after today, we will load all of these vignettes up, plus what we call the HR rant that you've just seen. In addition to all of the videos, there's a whole stream of resources that we've put on there. So we've actually, in accordance with this framework, we've built a very rough and ready, but dead easy, what we call the leadership readiness assessment. A self-assessment questionnaire, just download it, it's in a PDF format, and it'll give you a sense of where you or your team are against this framework. We've also developed an HR development curriculum that's linked to those leadership competencies. And for what it's worth, it's free, take it, do what you will with it, and as I say, all the videos will be on there for you too. So with that said, We did ask the CEOs this question: is your HR leader a successor to you as CEO? And the one I skipped over was just a little bit of advice from the two female HR leaders that we saw there. If you would like to see those videos, they'll be available on the website for you. Very interesting what the CEOs said. So that's it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming.